Happy Veterans Day, y'all. I had a mosquito sucking on my nose during that celebration, but I didn't flinch. How y'all doing today? Hello, Susan. Hello, Mary. So I just got back from a super rad run, my best run since I've been here in Florida. Because y'all know I'm used to running with no shoes, but I found the trick. It's these Ninja shoes with no socks. I tried barefoot when I first got here to the beach. It was not successful. I'm super lightheaded, y'all. And then I tried these Ninja shoes with socks, and it did not work. So today, I wore just these shoes. They're super light. I've had these for about 3 years. They're Nikes, and I went 2.5 miles, no problem, y'all. The only reason why I don't run with shoes on with no socks, or run with any shoes, have any shoes on with no socks, is because my feet sweat really, really bad when they can't breathe. So these Ninja shoes have these little these little holes in them. So I was cruising, and it was so magical because I get in the zone when I run, and there's so many beautiful people out today. It's 81 degrees today. I was skipping, cartwheels, push-ups, dodging traffic, dodging little, scooters. These old school cats that have these bikes and they lay on their back and they paddle and they kind of steer like this. And then I saw a doubler where it was like him and his partner, and they were cruising like a little double thing. They were cruising by. But it was really amazing because the cleaner I get, the higher my senses get. I was smelling so many beautiful things today. The trees, these pine trees, right? The fresh air. Anytime I would drive by like a food place, I could smell it from like a mile away. I could smell it like laundry detergent, and it's amazing. Whatever it is, it opens up your lungs. And then I run towards the sun, and then I have my headphones on, and it's like I get in the zone, auto zone. And sometimes I'll just close my eyes while I'm running towards the sun. And today was magical because I think I'm getting used to it here where I can run, and it's super therapeutic. And this thing right here, y'all, is a Voss bottle. Super heavy. You drink it, it's like $4 or $5. Then you buy this thing. It's called Aquasana. It's like a tube sock, bottle sock. Throw it on there. You can put like any product that you want. I like to do this. You can get like 3 of these at Amazon. I try to use a lemon a day. Then you get this rad little, this porcelain Ninja. Lemon thing. Lemon squeezer. So good. Lemons were $1 a piece for organic ones in North Dakota. You can get 20 for $5. You know how much that makes me happy? 20 lemons for $5. So you just go like this. You can use this. There's a little one. There's like 3 sizes, and you just put it in here and you squeeze it in there. This right here is super hydration, y'all. I love lemons. I love water. I don't even need my water cold anymore. Look it. And then if I have another half, I squeeze that other half, and then I put 2 of the ones that I've already squeezed on top, and you get those essential oils. Even if you turn it upside down, like look at all those essential oils that you get. See that? Super rad, huh? That has to make you thirsty. And when this is all you drink, you crave nothing else. Nothing else but water. Let's see if Buddy. Hey, I've never given Buddy a lemon. Let's see what he does. Come here, Buddy. Say Happy Veterans Day. Over here. This is gonna be fun, eh? Come on. He's giving a super sour face, and he won't stop licking. I wish y'all would have saw that. That was super funny. Boy, you not like that? You a good boy? You still give me huggies? Come here, give me huggies. Huggies. Look, he's still licking. Can you see it? He's still licking. Yeah, licking. Oh, he's got it. He's still licking it. Love it. You know what he ate yesterday? He ate some apples, and he even had a cherry tomato. So he's turning into quite the food exhibitionist. I think that's what you say, exhibitionist. So you know what I've just noticed? My energy is through the roof, but I'm calmer. And that's because I finally found that zone through my run. And that's what I've been waiting for. Hopefully this doesn't fall off, y'all, because this wind is getting a little crazy. But that shows you the power, you know, of the running. You know, even if you can just run in place or walk, you know, and it makes you think. The creative juices just super flow, and it's like a meditation to me. And I'm noticing right now, I probably will start talking faster, especially if I get really excited. But I'm super happy it took me 2 weeks to finally find my cadence for my running, and so that's a huge plus for me. It is Veterans Day, y'all. I served for 4 years honorably. May 4th, 1999, I joined the Navy. I actually was quite the party boy in Santa Barbara, California, being that little rave kid, you know, doing all that ecstasy, that delicious MDMA, and having a lot of fun in San Luis Obispo, Isla Vista, UCSB. Whoa. And you know, I was actually a really bad boy. I used to be a cocaine dealer. Crazy, right? I was 17. I was getting in a lot of trouble in Phoenix, Arizona, and my dad says, you got to go. I kicked out of all the schools and stuff. Didn't finish 12th grade. He gave me $400, and he sent me on a Greyhound bus to go live with my sister, who unfortunately was living in a crack house. And you know, I had this little corner of this crack house, and there was like 10 people that would come in and out of there. And GHB, gamma hydrate, GHB, it's this liquid drug that was really big back then. You know, the person that was there was like the little chemist there, and it was actually, you know, made for bodybuilders in the 80s, and you would see a lot of these bodybuilders that would do GHB, and their jaws would get really big because it helps with you know, muscle rehabilitation and muscle recovery. But it was an epidemic. You know, a lot of people would use it for like rave drugs, and you know, it's really sad, and it makes me angry, especially with all this sexual abuse, any abuse really, but the sexual abuse that's going on right now. Not even right now, it's been going on forever. But now, you know, Hollywood, you know, they're taking down Weinstein, and I don't know if anybody's guilty, just what you read. A lot of people think that they know people just because people report it, but I don't know these people individually. But let's just say that this stuff is true, which I know there are people I've heard of, individuals that do this. And in a way, I am probably guilty of that through my dark days. You know, I've never masturbated in front of girls. I've never sexually abused anybody. I might have flirted, but no means no. That's one thing I truly can say, you know, that I have never crossed that line. But I think I might have sometimes maybe crossed the line, you know, joking, you know, just doing that stuff. Maybe I was at the beach, or maybe I was intoxicated and whatnot. And so, you know, awareness is key, and the world is waking up. And, you know, women, you know, love spin boom for y'all, even though I got one shoe on. Boom. I love change, and I love this topic is being talked about, y'all, because I remember a lot of times that GHB, you know, was used to manipulate women and to rape women and to sexually abuse women. And it might happen, you know, male on male, male on women, woman on male, you never know. But I'm really glad that conversation is happening worldwide, and you know, things need to change. But I was doing all of that stuff. You know, I was a coke dealer, had my little scale, you know, doing little twompers. You know, I had my little scale, these little bags, you know, and I was like allowed at like 4 or 5 of these bars, and I was like the little coke dealer, and I'd grab this little scale, and I had my little Camry, you know, and I'd, you know, hang out with these strippers and just all this bad stuff, living in a crack house. And then I was selling this GHB, and I had these little Mountain Dew, little 20-ounce bottles, and I'd have like 40 bots in my trunk, and they're like little bottles, and I'd sell them for $60 a bot. And I didn't do GHB all that much. I didn't like the way it made me feel. But just to stay with my story, so I left Arizona, $400 Greyhound bus, moved in a crack house. All of a sudden I'm selling, you know, blow, you know, doing GHB, selling GHB, hanging out in this crack house. And, you know, I had to get my degree because I had to do something with my life. And I got expelled out of all the schools, and I only got through 11th grade. And I actually went to University of UCSB Community College. And they had this like alternative thing. And I went there by myself. You know, I went through that $400 very, very quick, you know, and then I started partying with all that money, and that went away, especially with all the ecstasy and the raves. And I was like, I got to do something. So I would take the bus stop, and I went to that, and I enrolled by myself, no help, took the bus. And for 6 weeks, I took a bus and went to UCSB, that alternative school. And that's when Napster was popping, and you could like, you know, P2P sharing thing was really cool, and you can go online and download like a college paper. So I would literally just go every day, download college papers and turn them in, and I just sat in class and kind of listened. I don't learn like school stuff, you know. I learn if I want to learn, and I'm engaged in it, and it seems rad, and it seems like I can use whatever I am potentially trying to learn. In the future, I will pay attention. That's why I can rap about traditional schools and all that. But 6 weeks like that, and you know, I got my high school diploma, y'all. And so I was like, all right, I gotta get out of here. I can't be, you know, making a muck and, you know, running around doing all this fun, crazy stuff anymore. And so I went to the recruiters, y'all, in downtown Santa Barbara. And I was actually gonna join the Army. And the Army recruiter didn't show up. You know, I had to take the bus there, y'all. And I sat there for like 20 minutes, and then I was walking away, and this Navy guy came up. And he's like, all right, yeah. I was like, and you know, they try to pitch you or whatever. And so and then I had to wait, and I came back, and I took the ASVAB test. And I don't know if y'all know, but I believe that I'm like on the scale. I think I have a little bit of autism, just because I had a lot of concussions. I had one playing basketball when I was in 6th grade, and I had a really, really bad concussion in 7th grade. And then a lot of, you know, I got in a lot of fights too, and a lot of those fights I didn't win. And so I've had a lot of head damage, brain damage. So I took the ASVAB, and I scored a 53. You know, but I was used to that. You know, I never got good grades, y'all. I literally had F's and D's the entire time. You know, all the way from, you know, 9th grade up, y'all. And then I got expelled out of 10th grade. And then I had to go to this alternative school. I had to get bused. You had to get, you know, patted down every time you get on the bus. And then when you go to school, it was a really, really rad, or not a rad school. It was a really, really different type of school. And so anyways, I scored 53. And he's like, wow. He's like, well, I'll tell you what. He's like, well, I got something for you. He said, well, if you go undesignated, I can give you a $3,000 bonus. And I was like, really? Oh, wow, okay, cool. He's all about one thing. You have to go undesignated. I was like, okay, cool, sign me up. So undesignated mean you don't have a job. You're not like an AO or an MS or a yeoman. You don't have a job, so you don't go to an A school. You're basically undesignated. So you go to undesignated school where basically people scored really, really bad on the ASVAB, and then you strike your rate. Really, it's like the worst thing you could do. So Ninja Flip into boot camp. I've actually really, really enjoyed some aspects of boot camp. It was in Great Lakes, and it was in May, y'all. May, June, July. So it got really, really hot, especially at the tail end. I don't know if y'all been to Chicago, but it gets pretty hot sometimes in the summer. And one thing I really liked about it is the physical fitness, because I was doing so many drugs, and I was not healthy. I did not eat properly. I remember I weighed 138 pounds when I got into boot camp, which is very, very skinny for 6'1". And you know, I like eating, you know, 3 times a day, you know, not drinking and having all that sex and partying and recovering and doing ecstasy 4 or 5 times a day in a row and all that stuff. But, you know, another thing I didn't like is, you know, you had to learn like the Sailor's Creed, which is, I don't even know if I could remember that. You'd have to learn a lot of these things, and I didn't really pay attention, you know. And I'm just gonna keep rapping. I'll just keep saying, because, you know, I remember I was so not interested in learning like the rank, what like an ensign is, or like a warrant staff officer, because I just didn't care really, you know. So I will tell you one thing, and this is pretty disgusting, but I keep it raw and stay rad. And the more I talk about things, it makes me think, why was I in that position? Where was my mind? Where was my heart? How much pain was I really going through at that time? And I remember this. This is a true story. I lost my virginity when I was 16 years old. And, you know, a lot of times I used to brag, like when I was in 6th or 7th grade, that I had already had, you know, sex. But I lost my virginity when I was 16. And from 16 to barely 19, so that's maybe 3 years, maybe less than that. I remember I had this little Ricky notebook. Everything was a Ricky notebook, a Ricky something, like a Ricky box was called masturbation. A Ricky notebook, they just said Ricky this, it's just a Navy term. And everybody's all studying hardcore, and they want to get, you know, they want to pass these tests, because if you don't, you get held back and you have to go through boot camp again. And my mind was just in such a horrible, like disgusting place, that I had this Ricky notebook, and I was like, wow, man, I have literally been partying for 2.5 years. And I was like, wow, how many women have I slept with? So I literally just started, and I remember, you know, I could remember like the first 11, like their names, and then I just started going, and then you think, oh my gosh, well this story, and then this one, and it's like, oh, that really beautiful woman with the hole in her jeans that drove the red truck, or it's like, oh wow, you know, that girl that I met at Subway, you know, on they went to Dobson High. I wouldn't even remember their names. I mean, it just gives me chills. It's like, it's just disgusting. And I remember when I was done, it took me like a day and a half, because I'm like, oh that one, and you know, I had slept with, you know, a couple of women, you know, on the same day. You know, I'd go to ASU and these barracks and stuff, and just disgusting. And then when it came to it, I had slept with like 122 women in like less than 3 years. And I sit here and I'm like why? Like why? And yeah, there's no excuse for that. But I can think about why. And so I come up with some reasons why. Is I think one of the bigger reasons, and I'm not sure if this is the biggest reason, is that, you know, I didn't have a mother. You know, they have that song by the Beatles, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So when I was running amok, always 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all that stuff, you know, I didn't have that mother mentor, that mother that would rub my head, that mother that would kiss me slowly, that mother that would scold me, you know, in a nice way, that mother that would take care of me, that mother that would comfort me, that mother that would, you know, give me good advice and say, Tommy, that's okay, you know, that's okay, you know, or just have my back in that tender touch. And I didn't have that. And I think that's a big reason why, and I can kind of pivot and really go deep on that. But I think that is a big reason why. You know, I did have, maybe not necessarily mother figures, but I did have some women in my life, and they might not even know who they are, but they did touch me in a certain way, meaning that they left maybe a little bit of an imprint, a positive imprint, or maybe a little bit of a larger imprint. And number one, that is my grandmother, Leona, which I will tell you all a secret. This is Leona, y'all, if you didn't know. So this is my troll, and she is named after my beautiful grandmother, Leona, and I can talk about her. I could do a 5-hour video about Leona. Beautiful, beautiful woman, devout Catholic, went to church 2 or 3 times a week. Loved bridge, loved playing bridge with her ladies. You know, raised 5 beautiful children. You know, and she just we used to play Scrabble every summer, and you know, she used to take care of me, and I would spend the summer with her from, you know, probably from maybe 9 years old all the way to about 16 years old. I would at least get to spend maybe 7 to 10 days every summer with her, all by myself, or sometimes with my sister. And just those small amount of times, and I would see her in the holidays, just those small, just a little bit of time, this much of the year, you know, did make an impact, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And she's passed for about 10 years now, and that was really, really tough for me. You know, my grandfather was a beautiful man. My dad actually worked for my grandfather as a general contractor, and you know, my grandfather was very, very sick, and when I, you know, got out, you know, I was a professional golfer, and you know, I was over in South Carolina after my first marriage ended, and you know, running amok there, you know, I had a really big staff, and really not in a good place, and my grandfather got sick. And so, actually my grandmother got sick, came there, and then she was in a hospice, and she passed like 3 days later. Went back to South Carolina, and I quit the business, came back, and then 3 years later, my grandfather passed actually in my car, and I was driving him to the hospital. And so he was dear to me, but let's go back, and he passed, I think it was 2010, or 2009, 2011. And I love them dearly. A couple of other women that had, you know, a small impact or maybe a larger impact, that had some sort of impact, was Miss Carol Smith. Carol Smith, I think we're friends. She has 3 beautiful children, and I believe 2 granddaughters. And if you ever watch this, Carol, you know, she was a neighbor, and she had an imprint. I think the first time I ever saw, it might have been an avocado, was in her kitchen. And she is extremely talented, extremely beautiful, artistic woman. I think she owns Intersect Art School in Arizona, and so she definitely had, you know, an imprint on me. My next door neighbor, Rita Smith, in a way, you know, had an impact on me. And a lot of these women, I mean, I was an alley rat, y'all. I was a punk. And so these women, you know, probably had to, you know, I was like the bad kid. You know, a lot of times they would have to scold me, and a lot of times their kids probably weren't allowed to hang out with me. But they still made an impact, because, you know, I remember some very nice things that they did for me. And there are probably a few more, but that I'm leaving out. But let's go back to boot camp. So I'm like at 122 women. I'm like, what is this? This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Like, what is this? Why is this? Do I, you know, and all of that, I literally had one, like, really, well, two really rad girlfriends that I really fell in love with. My interpretation of what love was at that time. And, you know, and it didn't stop there. You know, when I got out of boot camp, you know, it continued on, just, you know, sleeping with women. And so anyways, I can go about that. Let's go back to Veterans Day. You know, I keep it raw, y'all. I have no filter, and what's rad about that is because I'm not hiding anything. When you can get things out and you don't lie anymore and you have no fear, you know, and even if you've hurt people or hurt yourself, the more you talk about it and let it out, you can literally blossom, you know, and really become a better person, because you're not withholding things. You're not compressing, or you could just be you freely. And so I can talk about this thing. So anyways, I got out of boot camp, y'all, and so then I went to, where was it? It was in Sumter, South Carolina, and I was in facilities. And basically, you know, not a good job. They basically throw you around wherever you want to be. You're everybody's, you know, helper or whatnot. And I was literally getting paid. Every 2 weeks, I remember for the first year, y'all, I got paid like $330 every 2 weeks. I mean, that's like $600 a month. And I would work like 60, 70 hours a week. So I was making probably $8,000 a year for the and you know, I could go on about that, but anyway, so undesignated. Then, you know, I got in some trouble. I got in some trouble drinking, and I had to go to Pensacola, Florida, for 30 days. Basically, I had to go to Captain's Mast, and they sent me there for 30 days, and that was a crazy experience, y'all. Basically, you don't want to go to Captain's Mast, and you don't want to do that, because really, I was called an awardee, because you're awarded this discipline. And every time you made a movement, y'all, if I wanted to pick my nose, I would say, Awardee Collins, request permission to pick my nose, petty officer. And you would have to wait for him to give you permission to pick your nose. And then you would pick your nose, and you'd have to say, Awardee Collins, request permission to stop picking my nose, petty officer. And then you would say, anything. Awardee Collins, request permission to open my CCU wall locker, petty officer. You'd wait. Boom. Awardee Collins, request permission to go to the head, petty officer. The head is a bathroom. Then every movement you made, you had to ask permission. And after that, I did pretty well. I don't know if well. I didn't get in any more trouble, per se, after that. So then when I came back to Sumter, you had to strike a job. And I was really, really ninja on the keyboard, y'all, with computers. And I was an E1. And, you know, Petty Officer Frost, who I still kept in touch with, he passed away, I believe, about a year ago from cancer. Beautiful man, really, really funny man. He kind of took me over under his wing. And he put me in the admin office. And, you know, I actually was in charge of 6 E6 billets, which is huge. I'm an E1, and I replaced six sailors that are all E6s as one person. And so I actually achieved a NAM, which is Navy Achievement Medal, which takes some people 10, 12, 13 years to even get. And I was really proud of that. There was a lot of jealousy, a lot of HAT on that, but I didn't care. I had fun, and I feel like I was really making a difference. And at that duty station, it was at TACAMO, which is these E6A planes with this 2-mile antenna that would like talk to the nuclear subs. I mean, I had to get like, I can't believe, I didn't even get like a security clearance. They kept making me go into this office security clearance because they had like all this. I mean, I had been arrested, even by the den. I had been arrested like 5-6 times. And like, they wouldn't give me like a secret clearance. So they gave me like a little mini-me secret clearance. But they didn't even know, like I had all, like I was doing all the paperwork and the billeting and all that stuff. But anyway, so I struck I was doing really good, got the NAM, and then this was cray-cray. So all of a sudden, the day I got my NAM pinned on, it was early in the morning, you know, I think we had captain's call or whatever, I forget what it is, y'all attention, the whole squadron, there's like 120 people. I got my NAM, which is like really, really, really good, y'all, under a year for an E1 undesignated to get a NAM. I think it might be unheard of. Maybe not unheard of, it was just, it's really, really, really good. We come back, right? The TV's on, right? Everybody's in my office, and then boom, right? That plane hits the towers, right? And you almost, and we're in, and where I was at was top secret with that 2-mile antenna that sends the codes to the nuclear subs with the dual keys, you know, that you see on the movies and stuff. Like, I'm like in like the place where like stuff is happening. And it just went crazy, y'all. I really felt like I was in a dream. I was like, what's going on? Right? And then the alarms go off. It's like Alpha Male 6 or whatever. I don't pay attention because I like to kind of forget that stuff, just because maybe you would have like PTSD or whatever. And then all of a sudden, that second plane hits, y'all, and it was nuts. It was nuts. My office was crazy. We had alarms going off, all the officers going, the jets going off, all this stuff. And so that was an experience, to say the least. And then you know, I still couldn't take a test. You know, I don't like tests. I don't like tests at all. And so I kept striking and trying to take these tests, and I would get like a 45 because I feel like your performance, even to this day, I feel like your performance should be enough. You know, you don't have to take a test. If your performance, if you're getting awards, or if your clients are happy or people are happy, you don't need to take a test. Well, in the Navy, you have to take a test, and all the armed forces. So I couldn't take a test. And I stayed there. They kept me there for like 6 or 7 months more so I could pass the test, but I couldn't take it. And I was still kind of running amok with the drinking and the womanizing and all that stuff. And I actually met my first wife there. And so then they had to send me, you know, away. So then they sent me to CVN 67, which is the JFK. And the JFK is an aircraft carrier. Now, y'all, this is a story. I mean, I have 1,000 stories that I can tell you. A lot of them are funny, but I'm just going to keep it short, and I'm going to keep it positive because it is Veterans Day. But anyway, so I go there. I'm driving my little purple Saturn. My clutch is all messed up. I have to get out of the car, push it backwards, pop the clutch. And I drove all the way there, and I get there, and now all of a sudden, I'm like in the real Navy, y'all, right? I'm in what's it called? Virginia Beach, Virginia, right? And it's like 2 months, you know, after 9/11, and now they're sending me on this aircraft carrier that was built in 1967, and this is like the last voyage cruise that they're going on, right? And they put all this money into it, and I'm like, what is this? And then I'm still undesignated. I'm still at E3, and I've been, you know, working with these E6s and officers. Now I got to work with these E1s, and I'm a brown shirt, and I'm working on the flight deck. It's the most dangerous job in the world. And I didn't even go to school for it, y'all. They're like, no, you gotta go. It literally is the most dangerous job in the world, like the crab fishing and all that. When you work on an aircraft carrier, especially during Operation Enduring Freedom. When they just say they just put you up there, y'all. and then you go out to war, right? So then we're going on a cruise, y'all. Like I didn't get a test cruise. They didn't teach me anything, right? So I go there, and then we go out to sea, right? So this is Operation Enduring Freedom. We're in the North Arabian Sea, and I'm on this flight deck, y'all, during the war, and all these F-14s, right, have all these missiles on it, and I was really athletic and I could do my things, but I didn't know anything. So and it's super dangerous. You're like ditching jets, and they have all these missiles, and you're hot. Like within 60 seconds, your body is completely drenched. It's like 140 degrees out there, and you have to wear like a turtleneck and visors and this thing, and then you would ride brakes in like the wind, and the aircraft carriers like this, and and jets are flying, and this catapult thing and wires. It's like the craziest thing. You're literally like all over the place, and then you got to ride brakes. You get in the canopy, and like all these jets are like flying and hitting the thing, and you're like pumping these brakes, and the jet and like it's insane, y'all, how dangerous it was. And they let me go up there, and I was like, man, I gotta get off this jet, you know what I mean, or off this flight deck. So everybody told me that if you take the MS test, which is like a chef, you could just take the test, and they'll give you E4, which is petty officer, and that's a big jump. I mean, I still only made like, I don't know. I think the most I ever made every 2 weeks, y'all, was like $890, and I'm out to sea for 6 months. The most dangerous job in the world. The people say. I mean, to me, it was pretty dangerous. And so I'm like, all right, I'll take the MS test. And I literally did this, y'all. I go in a little test taking room, and I was like, I'll just give you the test. So I just went like this. This is a little bubble test. I dislike those bubble tests because I never study. I would never know any questions. Sometimes I pay attention to questions. I would just go like this. But this bubble test, I promise you I did this. I just went C, 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 C. I did C all the way down. Just filled it in with a little number 2. C, 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 right? Like 2 weeks later, they say that you passed. So I passed the test, and I'm an MS, so now I'm a chef, and I get my little chevron and stuff, and they pin the thing on. And so now they send me below. And I learned it was fun, but it wasn't fun, but it was a lot funner than being up on the flight deck. So now, I'm down in these huge kettles, y'all. These steam kettles, right? And you have this ninja fork, and you're putting all this. At this time, I didn't know, but now it's like it's not even food. Like big powdered things of cheese and like fake meat. And anyways, but I would just teach myself. They'd have these recipe cards, and I would cook for 2,000 people 3 times a day, y'all. 3 times a day. So you have these big steam kettles, right? And you put all your weight on this fork, and you'd be making like this lasagna or like this tuna casserole, right? Or you'd make like the spaghetti marinara, and it was different. It was different. And then like you'd work the fryer sometimes, and they'd give you a bag of powder stuff, and the fryer was one of the toughest jobs because everybody liked the French fries, and really it was just powder. I have no idea what was in there. But you'd make all these fries, and you'd get the fries, and you'd have like tears, and then they had these huge ovens, and pizza day was really cool, and you'd get burns all over the place, and really it's like a fast-paced thing because you're feeding all these people. And then you would work the skillet, right? So you'd make over easy eggs, sunny side up eggs, scrambled eggs, and you'd just be like skillet and chopping up. And so I was learning a little bit. And so I did that, and then when we got back after the war was over, I don't think there's ever been a war over, and I can go on for that. I really just want peace, y'all. And in the world, I mean, I just don't want to ramble, but I'm not even gonna go there. But anyways, I get off the boat, and then we go to shore duty, and so I'm an MS now, right? And so they put me, now we're shore duty, and they put me head supervisor of veg prep. So they give me this little rad little paring knife, this little ninja knife, and this little garnish book. I didn't read the garnish book, I'm like, whatever. And now I'm like in charge of ordering all the vegetable and produce. Like I never even knew I would be here. Like, but it taught me a lot. It taught me like I could make roses out of cherry tomatoes, and I was hardcore, y'all. Like it really, because it brought out creativity in me that I didn't know I had. So I worked really, really hard, and they just gave me the ninja knife, and they're like, here, you're veg prep supervisor. I was like, okay, cool. And so then I would get these onions, and I would like do all these things, and I would put them in dye and make these awesome roses and stuff. And then they would give me like cantaloupes and honeydews, and I'd make these swans and these ducks, you know, and I'd play with ice, and it was fun. Like and then check this out. So I was having fun, like I'm doing now, and I won Sailor of the Month twice, y'all. Right? I even still have my awards. So I learned a little bit about that, you know, but now I think, like, I don't know how it is now, but the nutrition there is pretty bad. Pretty bad. Actually, really, really bad. Depending on where you're at, you know, the officers have a little bit of food, and it could be completely different, so I don't want to, you know, say it's bad, but it was really, really bad when I was there. And I remember, y'all, in boot camp, and this is another thing about vaccines, you know, with all my head injuries, with all of the drugs that I've done, all the damage that I've done to my body, all the damage other people have done, you know, I've mentally been sexually abused, you know, I have a lot of work to do maybe than someone, you know, that doesn't. You know, I know my mother smoked and drank when and probably did some other things, you know, when I was being born. And so they gave me in boot camp a bunch of shots, y'all, a bunch of shots when I was in, when I went to MEPS. Right? You literally walk down this line, and there's like these big old little ninja vaccine things, and they literally just shoot you. You walk in, and it's like ta-ta, 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 ta-ta. And that's when that one stuff was going around, you know, when people were selling anthrax or something. So I don't know what they were putting in me. And then at MEPS, everybody got this shot, and it made you active duty. And it was like a needle like this, like thick, and like this long, and it was like a syringe, and they put it like right in your hip. And there was, I mean, we're all young there. We're basically babies, young men. And there was dudes that were crying and falling down. And there's like 120 of us. And they put like this much stuff in your ass or in your hip, and it would be like a grapefruit, y'all. It was a concoction of I don't know. They don't even tell you what it is. And you just rub it out, y'all. It was literally a concoction of vaccine. You just rub it out, and you just rub it and rub it. There was grown, you know, men just crying and crying, and you just rub it and rub it and rub it, plus all the other stuff that they gave you, and who knows, you know, what they put in the food. And so that's why I'm always just trying to, like, I always have so much work to do, you know, and I never feel better, but you just, you know, maybe it's different or whatever, but anyways. And so I guess, you know, I got to go to Dubai, I got to go to Turkey, I got to go to Spain, I got to go to Greece. I got to go a whole bunch of places. And one thing I want to say, y'all, is about this whole nudity thing, right? Is that one of the most interesting things that ever happened to me in the Navy, when we stopped in Turkey, I believe. It might have been Greece. And you got a bunch of sailors, wild sailors, right? We get off the boat and we go to the beach, and all the women are topless, and some of them are naked. And you have sailors that are out to sea, you know, and you're just like, whoa. Where you go to this beach, and like women, like you're literally having a conversation with some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, and all of them are topless, and some of them are naked, and they're just calm as cool, right? And so now with this whole thing with my shirt off, where there are GIFs on Giphy that people post that are pretty much naked, there are videos that cover up, and I'm like, I'm not naked. I don't get it. I have my shirt off. And I don't get it. And if you go all around the world, a lot of people are naked. A lot of women, you know, don't wear shirts, wear bras or whatever. And I'm getting like all this heat. And so for me, you know, if like I offend you or whatever, you know, I'm not sorry, you know, because I can't please everybody. So you know, I guess just take it as is. But I mean, do you want me to be bundled up, you know, like at like 5 scarves, a couple turtlenecks, you know, a big jacket right now? Because it wouldn't be optimal for me. You know, I'm in Florida, it's 81 degrees, it feels good, and I'm trying to heal my skin, my lungs, my kidneys, you know, everything, my mouth, my esophagus from all the tears that I would do when I'd smoke, my eyes, I'm trying to raise my senses. And so this is healing, being out here like this. And so, you know, if me being like this offends you, then I don't know, y'all. I really can't see a lot of y'all. Been to Dubai. Hello, Nicole. Hi, Molly. So, those are just a couple stories, y'all. But just to end the Veterans Day part is that I appreciate my 4 years honorably that I served. You know, I went to the brig, got in some trouble. A lot of the guys that I went in got kicked out within 6 months. Kicked out, boom, gone. And for me, you know, me and my dad have always had our issues, and now more that, you know, I'm in the healing process, I'm more aware of even some more issues that we have had. But one thing my father did tell me, you know, is that, you know, you got to have good character. And a lot of times I have not had good character, but I remember him saying, if you sign a contract, you know, you got to do it. And so that's one thing, even though I was running amok and stuff, I said, hey, you know, I signed that contract 4 years, no matter what it is, I'm going to honorably serve. There was no way in my mind at that time that I was going to ever get kicked out and be discharged dishonorably. That was just, that was never going to happen to me. And I am grateful because I do use the VA now to get all my STD tests, which I've never had an STD. Is that crazy? That blows my mind, y'all. There were so many sailors in there that were like pissing green, come with like rashes and scabies and all this stuff. I've never had an STD. With all of that stuff I just told you, not once. That is unbelievable to me. And so I go to the VA, I get my STD stuff tested. You know, back in the day, you know, 3 years ago, you know, when I got tested, when I was married with my second wife, they told me I was bipolar and all this stuff and schizophrenia, and they gave me all these prescriptions. That was free. And then when I used to take all that Viagra, that was free. They just mail it. I don't need that stuff anymore, but I do need to go to the VA now just to get blood work done. I'm really interested in blood work. You know, they don't get hardcore on the blood work. They kind of do the basics. And again, they kind of do, you know, the rigmarole. They see so many people. They only got like 8 to 10 minutes to see each person. So, but this has not happened yet. Well, it has, and I have a bad experience, but I'm not gonna talk about it. But I believe what the biggest VA benefit is if I do get like injured, if I get in an accident or something, what's really, really cool from the best of my knowledge is that you can go to the VA emergency room and it costs you nothing. And so that is really cool. And I know Kauai has a really, really good VA. So that is like epic. You know, I really do believe I'm going to be living to, you know, 169 years old. And so to have a 5-star VA in Kauai makes me smile. And so, you know, I put that work in, you know, I served my, you know, country honorably. And so that is a huge benefit. I know when I was getting discharged, a lot of people wanted to say, you know, get some disability or anything. I never did that. I just never chose to do it. So overall, y'all, you know, my experience in the Navy was a learning experience. I don't believe everybody should do it. I don't believe it should be mandatory. And I am beyond, I always forget I am a veteran. You know, I don't, you know, like they have the VWs and they go there and you got the gold card. And when I was an alcoholic, I am an alcoholic still, but I don't drink. But there's a lot of people that get like the gold card and they slam it on there and they get free drinks with it, and it's like a community thing. And sometimes they wear like the hat and they want to be called petty officer, you know, or they're still an officer, whatever. I get it, it's like the camaraderie. But for me, you know, I forget that I'm a veteran. And so today, you know, I like to pat myself on the back because I learned a lot. I did learn a lot. And really, it was, to be honest, it was my last opportunity. You know, the stories that I told you in Santa Barbara, it was like my last opportunity. And I could tell you thousands of stories beforehand, and really, I mean, it was my last opportunity. So I would like to thank, you know, the United States Navy and all the other branches, and I would like to thank all of you veterans for doing what you do, you know, because I've been through it, and a lot of people have had way harder experience, way more trial tribulations as they served, and it really is a sacrifice. 100%, I can tell you right now, it's a sacrifice. In my opinion, I think that they should get paid 10 times the amount they do from the very time that they sign. I think teachers should get paid 10 times. I think every single person that serves this country should get 10 times the amount of pay. Done. Done. No ifs, ands, or buts, in my opinion. So I salute all of you. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service to all you veterans out there. Let's play, y'all. I got a lot of fun stuff. So check this out. This right here is overnight oats. I believe we've got some strawberries in there. we've got some coconut water in there, and we've got some steel cut oats. Maybe a little bit of honey. We made 3 different batches of this. This stuff is like gold. Gold, gold, gold. Beyond hearty, clean, clean, clean carbs. It is raw. It is sweet. You see it. Your hands are the only one that touch it. You make it with love. I prefer them to be soaked for about 3 days. They just get nuttier and nuttier and nuttier. I'm gonna play with this one now with y'all. I don't have a strainer. And remember, this is coconut water. So you can do a cup of steel cut oats. In my opinion, make sure that you get the steel cut oats. Don't go and I can put a link on there that you can get them steel cut oats. You gotta get the steel cut oats that are raw. Because sometimes they'll say slightly roasted. And remember, raw, I believe, is 115 to 118. You can't go above those or it's not raw. And I'm not vegan and I'm not 100% raw, you know. But, so yeah, you can use water as well, but you can use coconut. And you could just drink it like this, just to get the I'm telling you that it's so good. You can just drink it, and so you can have like a soupy oatmeal. What I wanted to do is strain it a little bit, but I don't think, let's see if I can do it. I wanted to strain it here, just so I could see if I can get some of this water, so you can kind of have, you can save this water, maybe throw it in a smoothie without, see if I had a strainer, I have a bunch of mesh strainers, but I didn't bring them out here. That's not gonna work. So what I'll do is I'll just pour it in this bowl, y'all. And this is a lot. This is a lot. 1 cup of raw oatmeal is a lot. A lot of people, like, I don't know, it's probably 12 right now. I did a whole bunch of tonics today, a whole bunch of water. I've already ran almost 3 miles. I haven't eaten anything yet. So I'll probably, I don't know, I'll probably eat more than half of this. But typically, depends on what you're at, what you're doing. If you're doing intimate fasting, which I call it, all depends on what you're doing. But a cup of oatmeal is a lot of food on the belly, especially on an empty stomach. And again, this is way different than the cooked oatmeal. For me, they're completely 2 different things, y'all. You know, a lot of people like the warm taste of oatmeal with the cinnamon and the maple syrup. And I mean, I've been there, y'all. Even 15 months ago, I was buying the oatmeal in the packets, you know, or the oatmeal overnight oats is like a brand, and they're $3.25 a piece, and you get like 1/100th of the nutrition that's in here. And this cost maybe this cost about 40 cents. Y'all pick it up, I'm laying down. It's game changer. And you know, when you have the cooked oats, to me, it's more like a glue. It's like a paste. This isn't. So let me show y'all. And again, I would like to strain this, but I'm just gonna show y'all. Look at this. Look at that. Delicious. Now, what I would like to do is put some coconut yogurt in here with some biotics. But look at that. So good. So good. Check it out. Right? Look at that. Look at the strawberries in there. So good, and it's chilled. Please with the cherry on top. Perry on top. Perry on top. I do that all the time. If I'm saying 2 words, sometimes I'll put the first letter of the second word on the first word, and it always makes me laugh. Please with the cherry on top. Try this. Super good. And again, if you strain it and put coconut yogurt on there, it's so good. It's so good. Hi, Debbie. Hello, beautiful Miss Lana. Y'all, the Rad Juicer giveaway. I'm giving away 8 days from now. It's the same one as this. What are these doing here? Y'all want to know what these are? What these are for? These are handcuffs, y'all. This is like a virtual visual board for me, because I've been in handcuffs more than 30 times, okay? And I don't ever want to be in handcuffs ever again. So I make these visual. These are like virtual reality handcuffs, because I will never be in handcuffs on a negative way from like the government or anything like that. I will never be in handcuffs again. So that's why I keep these close, just to remind myself, you know, to be a good boy. But Here's the juicer, y'all. This is a Breville Elite juicer. I've had this for 5 years, right? This thing is a beast. This thing is super rad. There will be the 6th one we give away. All you have to do is, if you're not a member, go to Ridiculously Rawthentic. Join the group. If you're already in the group, please introduce yourself. Tell us your story. Tell us what you got going on, and add 200 friends. And if you really want to make a difference, add every one of your friends. Again, yesterday, which I thought I was going to do, I think 10 more people introduced themselves. So in the last 3 days, we've had 30 people introduce themselves. And I can tell you, more than half of them were added by other members that didn't even know of us. And now they're talking about sexual abuse. Now they're talking about hygiene. Now they're talking about, relationships, depression, whatever it is. Y'all, thyroid issues, whatever it is. And people get hundreds of comments, and they create relationships, real relationships. The power of social media is amazing. It can be healing. There's dark everywhere you look, right? Even on the web, even all around you in this world. But there are positive things, and there are beautiful people. And, that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to connect beautiful people so we can heal each other, and more importantly, we can heal ourselves. And so this is just a rad tool, y'all. And if y'all want to join, I'll just ninja flip over there. You got to make sure you add 200 friends. I got to try something. This might fall. This might explode the phone. If not, I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see if this works. We're good. We're good. So rad juicy, y'all. If y'all want to play. Those are the overnight oats. I think that's all I got. There was a whole lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Do y'all have any questions? I'm super chilled out because of that run, which is really good. Really, really good. Again, just being aware that I found my stride, and I found where I like to run, what it does to me, what I took before, the amount of sleep that, it's healing. Now I found, an awesome tool, which is cardio, that chills me out a lot more. I mean, I like when I rap and I have, so many things and I get funny, but today's a really good pace. So let's see. Hi, Alicia. Thanks for the morning light. You're welcome. Is Buddy still eating a lemon? No, but look what he did to the lemon. He took some ninja bites out of it. Lemon is so good. My senses have been reset. It's like a rebirth. I'm telling you, it's a rebirth. I can taste everything on a like when you got the volume cranked up, that's how I taste everything now. I can smell everything. I can feel everything. That's why I truly believe I fell in love with the sun, because I can feel the sun and how powerful and how healing it is and how energetic it is. So I might ninja flip over to Miss Lana's and go visit her today. And we'll play in the kitchen. Did you just steal Buddy's lemon? No, he's over there sun gazing. Y'all, this is amazing. Alright, y'all, I'm going to continue to play and have an awesome Saturday. Y'all want some bubbles? Let me give you some bubbles. Buddy's got the life. Buddy's quality of life. I might get a little emotional here. In fact, he hears me. Here he comes. He's got this little sand pit that he loves to sit in. Come here, buddy. Want some bubbles? Come here. Come here, buddy. Up. Come on. Up. No. Don't eat it. No, no, no. Up. Come on. Up. Come here. Let's see if he gets it, right? Get it. But for real, y'all, Buddy's life, his quality of life, has quadrupled, you know, a trillion times, if that even makes sense. Living in North Dakota, you know, that weather it's not healthy for anybody, I think. You know, I'm sure there's really healthy people. I've met a lot of healthy people there. But for me, I mean, if you could see him right now, he's literally glistening in sun gazing. And, you know, through my journey of me learning about health and fitness and self-love, I treat Buddy a whole lot better. A whole lot better. You know, just learning, you know, about myself, you know, and finding that compassion for myself and then everybody around me. And so I am, you know, this was originally Jordan's dog, but you know, when you buy a dog for your children, it's pretty much your dog. But yeah, Buddy couldn't be happier, and he has not been to the beach yet, but I will get him to the beach soon. All right, y'all, please share this video. You know, today I just gave you my experience of my 4 years, you know, in the service, and you know, it's just my story, and I could tell so many stories, y'all, about the Navy. So many really funny stories, and you know, I think everything's appropriate, just because, you know, it's my story, and y'all are here, you know, to be entertained or to spread the love and to motivate and inspire. And so I think everything, you know, is appropriate. And so if y'all just keep following me through my journey, you know, I'll tell you as many stories as I can. There's so many topics that I want to talk about. There's so many things that as I grow and my awareness gets higher, and the more beautiful people I surround myself, the more I'm gonna share. And I have a lot to share, and I'm really excited about that. And I want to thank all of you for playing with me, for playing with everybody in the group. Y'all mean the world to me. You really do. You all motivate me. Y'all really inspire me, and I really love watching you all spreading the love to each other and harvesting these friendships from people all around the world. And you all offer support. You all friend each other, and it's really a beautiful thing, because I see this beautiful thing, because I see the back end of it, and it's very powerful, and it's always going to be free. The meal plan is fun. There might be some other things that we put out there that you know, because people want them. You know, there's a lot of people that are very happy with the paid services. I do one-on-one consultations. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a life coach. I'm just me, and you know, I teach through my experiences and my journey. And so if y'all understand, just let me know. I know Miss Lana does as well. And go out in the sun, y'all. Fall in love with that sun. Fall in love with yourself. Have fun. And we'll do a love spin boom. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Veterans Day. Love spin boom. Boom. I love you all. What?